Hey guys, Joe Biscotto from Progressive Alternative here. Just wanted to stop in and make a quick video about some news we got in Iowa today. Um, there's been some pretty shocking polls coming out. Bernie now is at 25% in the New York Times poll that came out today. So to put that in perspective, he went up 6 points since the last poll. Joe Biden and Pete Buttigieg are at 17 and 18%. If you take an average of all the polls, a whole bunch of different polls came out, but if you do average them, the average of the polling is right around that, right around those numbers. So it's a pretty good bet that that is how Iowa is going to look, barring some major shock, which of course anything can happen. So make sure you get to the caucuses. Make sure you call your friends, your family who are in Iowa, urge them to go and caucus for Bernie Sanders. We need all the support we can get. It's coming up in just a little less than a week. Um, So that's what's going on. There's a lot of excitement on the ground. There's a lot of enthusiasm for the campaign, which Bernie's rivals, not so much. Bernie had a rally in Ames, Iowa on Saturday, which drew 6,000 people. In Ames, Iowa, that's a lot of people. Joe Biden, in contrast, had a rally in Ames, Iowa recently, 600 people. Does that remind you of anybody? Maybe in 2016? Who had 600 people at most of their events? Hillary Clinton. And that's what I'm afraid of with Joe Biden, because that's what's going to happen. If Joe Biden becomes the nominee, he's going to be Hillary 2.0. Um, only difference between them is one is a woman and one is a man. Um, Joe Biden has not been on the right side of history, just like Hillary Clinton wasn't. Joe Biden didn't have any convictions, just like Hillary Clinton didn't. From trade, from votes on wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, the Patriot Act. You can go issue after issue, segregation. Um, you can kind of see both of their opinions changing as the polls changed, as public opinion changed. They went where the wind was blowing. Bernie Sanders has been consistent his entire life. His convictions didn't change based on the newest poll that came out. He's been the same man for 50 years now, and you have to respect that. Even if you don't support all of his policies, you need to respect Bernie Sanders' consistency to his convictions. And as it turns out, his convictions have been right. He's been on the right side of history on almost every single issue, and that's really, really important. Bernie's ground game in Iowa is unmatched. That's another huge reason for the polling that we're seeing that has him pulling Iowa out. Remember, he lost Iowa narrowly in 2016. Um, Fingers crossed he's going to pull it out in 2020, or let's really hope so. All signs are pointing in that direction. His ground game is a huge, huge component of that. There's in-state phone banking going on every day. There's out volunteers from all over the country are phone banking into Iowa to reach voters, to reach caucus goers, to just talk about the issues and let them know where Bernie Sanders stands on the issues they care about, on the kitchen table issues, how they're going to afford their health care and prescriptions and taxes, and are there going to be good jobs for their kids when they're getting out of high school and college, and how are they going to put food on the table? There's just so many issues that people are struggling with, and when you look at where Bernie stands on almost every issue, it's what's going to be good for the blue collar voter, for the man and woman struggling to figure out how they're going to give a future to their children. So that's what this election is going to be about. So it starts in Iowa. We need to have a great head of steam coming out of Iowa into New Hampshire. Polling in New Hampshire is looking great as well. But first, we have to get through Iowa. This is going to be most important. We have to come out of Iowa with the wind at our backs, go right into New Hampshire, and then go right into Super Tuesday. So it's pretty exciting. Let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen. Tell me your predictions for Iowa. Who you think is going to win. Why we can discuss it more in the comments. I look forward to that. I read all your comments, and I'll respond to them. I just like having these discussions off of Facebook. I'd rather have them on here. You talk to a wider range of people. You can kind of get where public opinion is. You talk to different sorts of people. The way the caucuses work too, I think, is going to be advantageous to Bernie. How if for people who don't know, a caucus is in Iowa, you need to get 15% of the vote to be eligible to get delegates. If a candidate does not get 15% of the vote, which normally happens is um, people went to the caucus for one candidate may switch their vote to another candidate, to their next favorite candidate to get them over the 15% threshold. I think Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden most of all, Joe Biden, Amy Klobuchar, and Pete Buttigieg the most have to worry about losing voters to another candidate. Good thing about Bernie supporters, we're pretty ardent in our support for Bernie. We're not going to switch to another candidate, and I think the campaign knows that. We're banking on that. So yeah, things are looking good going into Iowa. If you're in Iowa or if you have friends and family in Iowa, let's give them a call, email them, talk to them about the issues. Download the Bern app, BERN. You can kind of put names in there and see if people are registered to vote, what their party is, and then you can talk to them about the issues that matter to you and to them. So we can call. This is our chance to change the country. We need to do everything in our power to reach our family and friends, strangers. We got to cut through the bullshit that we see on CNN and Fox News and MSNBC and all the mainstream media who have a corporate agenda. Because make no mistake, they do have a corporate agenda. That's who's paying their bills. Every commercial you see on there for Boeing. I'm not buying any airplanes from Boeing. Are you buying any airplanes from Boeing? Why is Boeing advertising so much on MSNBC and Fox News and CNN? Because they're not trying to sell us airplanes or anything else. They're paying off the news media to spout their message, their corporate message. And that's what Bernie Sanders and us, because remember, it's not me, it's us. That's Bernie's slogan. Not me, us. And believe me, he does know that. He knows it's about us. It's not about him. He's fighting along with us to change the world, to change the country, to be a just and equitable country where the dignity of work is valued, where respect for ourselves is valued, where diversity is valued and embraced, where misogyny and xenophobia is not going to be tolerated. Society is changing for the better. We need to love it. We need to love each other, take care of each other, and be good to each other. And we need to fight together for the change that we believe in. So Iowa is coming up. Again, reach out to your friends and family in Iowa. Post on social media. If you're in Iowa, knock on doors. Get to a phone bank. Iowa caucus is coming up in just a couple days. It's got to be full speed ahead. So again, post in the comments. We'll talk about it more. But again, the enthusiasm gap is really, really, really going in the right direction. Let's keep it up. We'll talk soon. Peace. Sanders 2020.